Warning, warning. This video contains strong sexual innuendos and theme. I really hope that you are of age when watching this video. If not, watch something more appropriate. This is not an objective piece, but my opinion of the game. Hope that YouTube doesn't kill this video, and I hope that you enjoy it. Hello, and welcome to my review. My name is Lillian and I'll be doing a review for HuniePop 2 Double Date. This video will be divided into sections which you can check in the description or just hover in the bar, which you'll see anyway. Check them out if there is a particular part you want to hear about. I'm not sure how long this video will be since I want to edit this video well. Also, I checked my previous review, Invisible Ink, which was 32 minutes from a 7-page script, 8 if it was 1.5 spaced when I checked, so this may be longer. I want to note that before this starts, I'm going to spoil a lot of the game because I wanted an all-around view of the game. Like, I wanted to provide my view of everything that I played through, so you guys can have like a broader idea about it basically. So otherwise, let's begin with my review of HuniePop 2 Double Date. It's HuniePop but with double dates, hence the title. That's just it. You just date two girls with one guy. Or girl, depending on which gender you choose. There are some new gameplay mechanics added, which I'll discuss when we get to that part. This part will just be me quickly summarizing the plot of the game, so if you don't want to hear the story's details, skip to the time shown right now. I'll just wait a few months before we go, so it should be fine. And now let's begin with the summary.
According to legends passed down from ages long past,
the game begins with Q talking about the prophecy of the Nymphojin.
The Nymphojin.
Two spirits, apparently cosmic creatures according to the wiki, and how they are going to reawaken soon. If we don't stop them, they will be destroyed, and the whole galaxy in general, unless there's a savior who will be able to satiate their lust.
Actually, I might know somebody.
This part is basically the teaser of the game a few years back. After this, we go to us, the player, who is banging Ashley. I'll talk more about each character when it's time. That's just later.
Thanks, man.
Once she leaves,
Later, sweet cheeks. Keep that thing nice and hard for me for when I get back.
Q visits us.
Well, look at this motherfucker.
It's apparently been 2 years according to a FAQ done on their Reddit a few months ago, and tells us about the Nymphojin and what needs to be done. We agree to go to Ina de Puna to stop the Nymphojin from awakening from their period, basically. To do this, we need to get some fairy rings, 24 in total, to wake them early and satisfy them before the galaxy's dead. And to get the wings, we have to do some threesomes. That's why it's double dates.
Nice! Definitely depositing that in the spank bank. And look! We got our first pair of fairy wings! The system works! We'll need a lot more than that to awaken the Nymphojin, though. So keep doing what you're doing, man! Make Mama Sugar Dust proud!
On the way, we meet Lola and we get our tutorial for the game. Once we reach the island, we settle in a hotel and get to work. You go on multiple dates until you get enough wings, 24 as a reminder, to cause an eruption from the volcano to wake the Nymphojin up. You bang them and win. Then you get a nice kiss from Q and the story is done. Pretty simple story. We get called to save the galaxy from thirsty cosmic beings, do multiple double dates, bang the beings, and done. Not much story happens between when we first land on the island, and getting enough fairy rings. If we compare to the prequel, our goal there was just to get good at getting girls. Quick and simple to understand the story of the first game. We can move on to the gameplay section now. I'll provide my thoughts on the story later when we get to the opinions part.
Can you believe it, man? The old team back together again for another sexy adventure.
The core gameplay is the same as the prequel, with some new mechanics to match the double date theme. I'll talk about the dating first since that's most of the game here, I would say. Since you have to date 2 girls at once now, there's a new stamina meter / mechanic added for each girl. It's the only new token added here. Stamina has 6 bars and is used when doing dates and chatting. Chatting takes 1 bar. HuniePop 1 has a similar mechanic to it, with I think that it resembles the food and drinks gauge, I would say. If I don't remember it correctly right now, I would say. When you start a date, the girls gain 2 bars of stamina so you can chat with them until they go to 0 bars. You just have to hope that there's some stamina tokens ready, or it will be an early game over. During dates, the stamina is decreased by 1 for every match. When you do 4 or more of the same tokens, you would need more stamina to complete it. Basically, for 4 same tokens, you need 2 bars of stamina, for 5 you need 3 bars, etc.
Excellent!
Another is when you do 2 matches, which will also cost an extra stamina. There is a note that pops up indicating how much stamina would decrease, so you can use this just to make sure. The game won't allow you to go well below 0 stamina, which I found out during the final boss actually. When it reaches 0, the girl is tired, needs a break, and you're stuck with the other date until she regains her stamina, which is 4 bars.
I really need to do more cardio.
When both are out of stamina, the date is done. You failed the date. The girls regain stamina when you do matches on the other date, 1 bar. So you need 4 matches for them to be ready again, for them to be not tired. You'll be basically alternate matches between each girl and debate if it's worth the stamina to do so while matching their preferences. It's definitely a mechanic that forces you to not focus on one girl where you have your strongest trait on. This doesn't mean much later on, since you'll max out your stats in the end as long as you give the girls their gifts. To get to the good times with the pair, you need to succeed on the first date. After that, you'll get an icon that lets you know that there's something there, like it detects love. Succeed on the second date, and we get a nice CG, and that's it. One thing to note is that since there are 24 pairs, there will be 24 CGs for the main, 3 for the final boss, and 3 as a secret in the end. You can only get one of them since it's a choice, and apparently I needed to start over again to get the other choices. So 30 picks in total compared to 48. 4 per girl in HuniePop 1, because there was 12 girls in HuniePop 1, and there were 4 picks in total for each of them. There are also 3 messages after the first 3 days, which definitely provides more personality plus the picks and like more insight basically overall in HuniePop 1. A new mechanic that plays a big part in this game is baggages. Baggages are basically effects during the days that each girl has. There are 3 packages in total, and normally one of them is activated at a time. In Incel mode, however, which is the hard mode in this case, all 3 packages are on. Note that I've not played on hard, I've just read it and I'll be trying it next time. These packages are tied to the girls, so you get them the more you chat with them. I'll provide more info when we get to individual characters. One thing to note here is the time cycle. In HuniePop 1, the cycle changes when doing a date or you meet another girl. Here, however, the cycle changes when you meet another pair. Basically, when you date a pair here, the time doesn't change until you leave them. There is a store here to buy things just like before. There are 4 categories here: the food, date, shoes, and unique gifts. Items are placed in 4 boxes and cost a specific type that they are in. If they are in the blue box, you need blue hand seeds to buy it. It'll say how much you need, and so on and so on. Food is the same as before. Now, there are some new effects when you feed them, but I could be wrong on that. They will either give more sentiment, passion, or moves in the beginning of the date. The maximum amount of moves is 30, while others will give stamina. Some even provide more if they match the girl's preference. Food was originally for talking to the girl to learn more about them, and only needing 1 bar to go on a date. I just remembered that I forgot to talk about this during the dates part. It's that when you were chatting with them, you get 1 extra move, so just chat with them for like a total of 30 moves maximum and you're good. Date gifts are just like in the first game. Instead of money, the currency is now honey seeds, which I talked very briefly in just before. They are honey seeds because we are going tropical. We're going to an island. From what I've noticed, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but you get more seeds that match the girls you currently are on a date. I have no clue if that's true or not. I think it's just random personally. I didn't really use them that much during my playthrough and only started using them more during the alpha mode actually. Alpha mode is just basically perma unlocked after beating the game, just like the original. It's just perma hard mode. It just gets progressively difficult each successful date. From what I've noticed upon using the gifts, a lot of the gifts are similar. I can't say for sure since I don't remember the date gifts in the original, so there may be some of them may be different. Now we're going to the final two categories that I talked about, the shoes and unit gifts. Shoes and unit gifts are practically the same as in the original. It's basically what you give the girls. Like, if I remember correctly, Aiko wanted something Asian. I don't remember. I'm just making up right now. But yeah, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with this. There are 4 shoes and unique gifts for each girl, 8 in total, and you have to match their characteristics. For example, Nora likes some boy shoes and unique gifts are carrying on, which is set there. And then you have to guess which one you have to give it to. Once you give her one of these, the next ones will have a chance to appear in the store. Then you do the same process over again until it's done. That's pretty much it. When you do this, it increases your level with that stat. It says in the item when you give it to them. When you give all the gifts to the girls, you should be max level by then, I would say. Now then, we're going to the biggest part of the video, I would say. The characters. There are 12 characters in total here that you can date. A lot of the characters here were first seen in HuniePop Studio. Only 3 people here are new, with 2 returning from HuniePop. At the time of recording, there are no secret characters unlike in HuniePop, which had Momo, Celeste, and Venus. To unlock all of them, you just need to visit one of the girls you've already spent time with and go to one with a question mark, similar to the prequel. That's it. Also, you don't get to date Q in this game. Sorry. She got told by the corporate apparently, and there's a rule about it.
As much as I'd fucking love to be more involved, unfortunately, love fairies don't count. Besides, corporate said I have to stop fucking my clients. Can you believe that shit?
When you do visit Q in your hotel room, you get to do the variety of options. You can change the girls' outfits, check your album, take a nap, and which lets you change the time. In the previous one, you could do it all in the cell phone, I would say. You'll get more options after beating the game. I've definitely thought about the order I should do this, so instead I'll do a tier list about it. We'll go in order of worst to best girl, in my opinion. We'll discuss them in details, that's for sure. One thing to note before I get into each character is that each character has 4 pairs. I thought that every character would pair up actually, but I can imagine some people not gelling with other people basically. So let's talk about each character starting from, in my opinion, the worst girl now. We all have our own preferences after all. Actually, before we start, I just wanted to say something, basically. I initially put no one in C tier because there was actually no one I thought that deserves to be there, as being the best, A, great, B, good, C, mediocre, and D, worst now. But after some consideration and thinking about how I thought of the characters, I did some changes and now there's at least one person per rank, which is better I would say. As we progress through this, you'll notice that there's a part where I'm saying the same thing over and over again, which is who they are paired up with and why. This is a graph at least so I can see who they're paired up with in one glance. Going back, I repeat what I said since there may be people who are only interested on the girl and it may feel weird when I don't provide them the information about it, like why are they paired up with this girl. Hopefully you guys are fine with that, so let's just begin with the D tier. As a note, I'm not going to say directly which people share likes since that's going to be a lot. You'll figure out which ones they like since I'm going to be talking about each and every single one of them, and then you'll see like, ooh, oh, I remember that, I remember she likes this kind of feeling. So it'll take a while, I would say. In game, you can just hover the pair and then it'll actually highlight what they have in common. So that's really easy enough, I would say. So beginning with the D tier, we have the worst girl, in my opinion, Sarah Suki Stevens.
Konnichiwa! O genki desu ka?
There's just a couple of things I need to say before continuing on with Sarah Suki Stevens. I forgot to say that they don't say their last names a lot. The only times I've heard them talk about their last names were during dialogue, and even then it's rare. The questions you ask the girls are also different from the prequel. We'll get into it more later when I provide info about it. The other time will be pointed out later. It's better that way since it makes more sense. Going back to Suki, I think I'll stick with Sarah from now on because that's better. Suki is what you mostly hear from the game. So, Sarah is basically an annoying weeb. Her favorites are bubble tea, chocolate ice cream flavor, J-pop music, action movies, shopping online, camera for the phone app, yoga exercise, hiking for outdoor activity. This was quite a surprise when I first heard about this. The drop tower for theme park ride, watching TV during Friday nights, going on walks during Sunday mornings, sunny and clear weather, the Thanksgiving holiday, fish as a pet, computer lab for school subjects, bookstore as a place to shop, which I think she mostly looks for mangas and doujins, I guess. Well, apparently as a trait in a partner, her face, the missionary position, and obviously, hentai. She is paired up with Lailani, Zoey, Nora, and Brooke. You'll get to know more about them later. Sarah and Lailani's pairing is based on Sarah thinking that Lailani was Japanese, despite being actually Polynesian.
No, I'm actually Have you been to Shibuya, or Harajuku, or Akihabara? What's it like? Will you take me there sometime? Well, I'd love to, but I'm not... I can't believe I'm actually best friends with a tan Japanese girl! What's that smell? You smell that? It smells like a fucking weeb!
Lailani definitely looked like she was pulled off in the beginning, and it ended with Sarah wanting to see her make sushi. Weird. Sarah and Zoey is all around Sarah thinking Zoey was cosplaying a character.
Who are you cosplaying as? Is that Miyoshi from Cyber Detective Miyoshi?
Cosplay. What a curious ritual, dressing up as though you're a fictional character.
Nora and Sarah's relationship starts with Sarah being weird at first, but Nora thinking that she is innocent to the harsh word after the date. Lastly, the relationship between Brooke is the employer and employee relationship type, with Brooke being the employer. There was also some more information I found while trying to find pictures for this video. I don't know if this info is true or not, but I think this is real. I found them on the fandom site, and this is what I wanted to say about earlier, but this is the more appropriate time, I would say. I knew she was brought here to work, but I didn't know it was to work in a boba shop. Unless I missed it in some dialogues, which I don't think she talked about it that much. She definitely is annoying. The type of shoes and unique gifts you need to give her are weeb, which are apparently platform shoes, and Japanophile weeb stuff. In my opinion, Sarah is the worst character in the game. She's annoying as hell, which definitely translates to her packages. The 3 packages in order of gained are the Smelly Fadge, which reduces the amount of passion tokens that fall by 20% for the duration of the date. Manageable. Attention. Hole. 15% chance she steals your focus before a move is made, unless exhausted or upset. This is one of the most cursed packages that I've had to play through, I would say. And annoying AF. 50% chance that she will leave a broken heart when a match is directed at her. Still workable depending on the packages the other date has. I'm pretty sure she was one of the most problematic girls I had during dates, especially when she had their second baggage activated. The voice definitely made me facepalm the first time I heard, since I instantly knew the character she was. She's definitely the stereotype of a weeaboo. I've cringed a lot of times for sure. She also apparently doesn't even shower and mistakes languages for some reason.
No, not everyone. You don't really need to. I only shower once or twice a week. That's enough for me.
It's just hard for me to date her in general, when a lot of times the things she does just makes me annoyed and mad. I can understand liking culture, but not to this extent, where you aren't even taking care of yourself properly. Zoey also talks about how a lack of meaning leaves a gap in her life, a gap that she tries to cover up with distractions. Which probably means that she doesn't know what she's doing in her life, which is relatable to some sense, I would say, to most people, even me. Even right now, I don't even know what I'm doing. We'll talk about Zoey more later. There were definitely days where I was more tolerable of her behavior, but most of the time, it's just irritating, including during dates. But I guess she has a good heart. I'm not sure. Hopefully, she does have a good heart.
I don't know. Probably because they're just being mean to me. I'm not annoying. I'm not.
Now, let's move on to CT, and we have Lillian Aurawell.
You don't need to babysit me, okay? I'm not a fucking kid. I'm 18. Or I could just kill myself. It's not like anybody would care. Maybe I'll just get wasted and let a bunch of guys have their way with me. Do you think my parents would like that?
So as you can see, Lillian is the resident god girl in this game. There are people who fancy god girls, me included also. Going back, Lillian Aurawell just felt mediocre for me. She's basically like Audrey Belrose from HuniePop 1. She's also the cousin of Ashley, the girl we banged in the beginning. We will talk about her later. Lillian likes tea, vanilla ice cream, punk music like her cousin, horror movies, online videos, texting, swimming, none for outdoor activities, haunted house, crashing early on Friday nights, sleeping in on Sunday mornings, gray and rainy weather, Halloween, snake as a pet, none for school subjects also, alternative subject as a place to shop. I don't really know what those are. Height in partners, her vagina, 69, and BDSM. The types of shoes and unique gifts that she likes are God Girl, which are booties apparently, and Angsty Teen, a coat, respectively. Her pairs are Ashley, Zoey, Abia, and Leilani. Lillian and Ashley are cousins related by marriage. She's also the reason why she's on the island, since her aunt was going to be off town.
I'm actually waiting for my little cousin to arrive. When my aunt heard I was going to be out of town for a while, she begged me to take her off her hands. I figured, sure, why not? I'm sure my aunt could use the break.
Lillian and Zoey started out being awkward and somewhat being attracted to each other in the end.
Yes, I feel a strong connection with this one. May I ask your name?
Who? Me? Lillian?
That's a beautiful name for a beautiful soul. I was born Denise, but I go by Zoey now.
Okay.
Abby and Lil's relationship, just to note that I may sometimes say Lil's because it's just faster, like Abby and Lillian. But yeah, Abby and Lil's relationship is based on being defiant against their parents. And lastly, Lil and Leilani's begin with Lil trying to buy alcohol with a fake ID, but Leilani refuses. They seem to get along more as the day continues. Her packages are Teen Angst, which makes joy matches subtract instead of adding when matching for her. As long as you can remember it's active, then you're good. The Darkness, passion and broken hearts are reversed for her. Now this is one where I was like, it could actually be helpful because it depends on which baggages are active, and a lot of times I felt like broken hearts just kept dropping more and more, so this is a really helpful baggage. And asthma. 4 of a kind matches cost an additional 1 stamina. So basically, a 4 cost would cost around 3 stamina, a 5 cost would cost around 4 stamina, which is really detrimental. So it's all about management. You can probably tell that she's in that phase that a lot of teams go through. It's definitely relatable in my opinion. Everyone goes through that phase. She feels more sarcastic than Audrey, since I remember Audrey being more ruder, I think. I haven't played HuniePop 1 for a long time now, so I could be wrong. But yeah, they're just really similar. A lot of times she just wants to die, complains about people hating her, though I don't know if they actually do, and brooding a lot of times. Zoey's quote on her is, "A lost soul, confused about her place in the world, lashes out at the people who care about her most. Make out of that what you will." There are times when her constant whining gets annoying, but I do understand the phase that she's going through, so I'm more acceptable, I would say. Tolerant. Gameplay wise, she's more manageable than Sarah, including her baggages. Whenever she has the darkest baggage, like I've already said, it's just so much, it just makes me happy that I could actually match broken hearts. Even though there were actually times when she got upset because of the passion matches got dropped randomly, and I have no control over it. The worst baggage in my opinion for this one has to be the first baggage, which you just can't get any moves out of her. Asthma is doable as long as the other date has lots of stamina. I really have nothing else to say about her other than she's going through the emo phase, and just be understanding of her.
Whatever. I didn't ask to come here. My mom forced me to come because she fucking hates me. I wish the plane would have crashed. Maybe then she'd finally be happy.
Moving up a tier, we have Candace Candy Crush. You definitely know the reference. Is the airhead of the cast. She talks slow, slow in the uptake, and a stripper.
Hi there, handsome. You just gonna stand there, or you gonna come talk to me? My name's Candace. I'm a dancer at the strip club. You should come and visit me.
Candace likes milk, strawberry ice cream, hip-hop music, animated movies, webcam chatting, cashy phone app, spinning exercise, picnicking for outdoor activity, water slides, going to work on Friday nights, eating breakfast on Sunday mornings, extremely hot weather, Easter holiday, a pet dog, English for a school subject, going to adult shops, a big penis, none for body part, cowgirl, and lesbian category. Her favorite shoes and unique gifts are exotic dancer, which are heels, and slow learner, which are basically toddler toys. Her baggages are forgetful, 5% chance per move that she will forget either her or her date's date gift, removing their effects. It rarely happens since it is 5%, so it can be detrimental if it does happen, but it only happened once, I'm pretty sure, from my playthrough. Her second is intellectually challenged. Big moves won't use extra stamina, instead uses extra moves. It's a really bad baggage to be activated. You're just gonna be hoping that you have lots of moves and joy tokens to spawn a lot. And finally, hypersensitive. If she's upset, she drains 30% passion from both her and her date. I'm pretty sure the passion is just the hearts, so you'll get reduced amount of affection gained to complete the date, so this one's manageable. I mean, you just have to keep her stamina up really high and avoid getting broken heart matches, so it works out. Candace pairs up with Nora, Leilani, Abia, and Polly. Nora is Candace's drug dealer. I mean, that's a pretty simple way to say it. There's nothing else to add from that.
It's fine. Anyway, I got your stuff. You got the money?
The cocaine?
Jesus, are you stupid? How many times I gotta tell you to be quiet?
Shoot. Sorry. I forgot again.
Whatever. Here's your shit.
Yay!
Other than the fact that... But I guess Nora is just like looking wants to help Candace out, but she does need the money to help support her cousin and stuff. We'll talk about Nora later. Candace and Leilani begin with Leilani learning dance lessons from Candace, which is not the person I would go to personally, to basically help her self-confidence basically. It felt a bit more wholesome after a date with Candace wanting to help Leilani with her self-confidence. Abia and Candace is more of a customer relationship. Apparently, Abia is Candace's best customer, and that's become a problem, so she stopped going to the strip club. She basically spent all of her money on her, basically, every time she went to the strip club. Finally, Polly was the baby sister of Candace when she was younger, in which she developed a crush on Polly. Interesting. All in all, I'm pretty sure you can guess that she's basically slow on the uptake and just plain dumb, hence the baggages and stuff. She apparently does drugs. I mean, I already told you that Nora is a drug dealer, and shockingly got pregnant at least 3 times when talking to her.
Yeah, you got it. I never knew who the daddies were, though. Could have been anybody.
When she was with Leilani, she was caring and willing to help her, so she does have some caring traits. Although with Abia, I think she was more worried since she wasn't visiting her much lately at her job, so she probably also needed the money from Abia. She talks it in a childlike manner like, huh? Oh really? I just feel neutral about her, I would say. I'm actually drawing a blank on her. I don't really have much else to say to her other than she's just an airhead, dumb, childlike, addicted to drugs, sensitive, yet caring to others. And also, it's interesting that she was actually babysat by another character, by Polly basically. Gameplay wise, all her packages are manageable. I think the most detrimental one would have to be the second one. I've only had the first package effect happen one time, as I've said before. Second and third packages are super easy to work with. Nothing really else to say to her. I've tried to think a lot about the things to say about her, but that's it. Candace just seems really nice as long as she isn't doing drugs, basically. Next up after Candace would be Denise, Zoey, Greene.
You're talking to one of them now, aren't you? The butterfly people?
Okay, now I'm officially creeped out.
I've seen what happens if you should fail your task. And so, I wish to help in any way I can.
Denise, Zoey, Greene is seen as a crazy person in this game apparently. She speaks in a monotone voice, and she seems to know what's actually going on. Denise likes coffee, chocolate ice cream, techno music, horror movies, email for online activity, camera for phone app, boxing as exercise, no outdoor activities, haunted house for theme park ride. She's out dancing on Friday nights. She's sleeping in on Sunday mornings, cool and breezy weather, Valentine's Day, a pet bird, computer lab for a school subject, shopping at a fashion boutique, height for trait and partner. Her favorite body part is her face, the doggy style, and hentai like Sarah or Suki. Apparently, she likes weirder shoes, which are round top shoes, boots, and cyber chick for unique gifts, which is apparently spiritual. Her packages are kinda crazy, a random row of tokens will shatter every match made on her, tinnitus, constant ringing causes no joy tokens to fall when focused on her, and aquaphobic. Sentiment and broken hearts tokens are reversed for her. I'll talk a bit about the packages later. Zoey's pairs are Lillian, Lola, Sarah, and Polly. Lillian and Zoey started out being awkward and someone being attracted to each other in the end. Zoey and Lola started with Lola being interested in the way Zoey is dressed. It ends with Lola wanting to work with Zoey, but Zoey wasn't interested in money, but Lola presents another offer. Sarah and Zoey's is all around Sarah thinking Zoey was cosplaying. And lastly, the relation with Polly began with her finding Zoey's fashion sense weird, because Polly runs a beauty channel.
Oh? Is there something wrong with the way I've applied my makeup?
No, you look great. It's just white eyeshadow and lipstick. It's
An interesting statement.
It ends with Polly making up with Zoey as Zoey senses about Polly's past, so they decide to confront about it. Zoey actually knows what's happening, yet is seen as a crazy person even to Q when we first met her.
You're here to awaken them, right? The cosmic ones?
What the fuck?
She can apparently feel the presence of a fairy person. She even someone knew about Venus. She speaks in a robotic fashion. She also talks about the other girls and describes them, which is what I mostly use for the quotes, like as a way to give more insight on them. Because Zoey does say about like their insecurities and stuff, as you probably heard from the other sections. It's also why I'm using her quotes to help at least organize my thoughts while making this video, I would say. I can understand why she is seen as a crazy person, since we know the existence of fairies and normal people don't. She can sense them at least. During dates, her first baggage is really RNG, since it can either take the road with lots of broken hearts or just ruin your setups for the 4-match or 5-match. Second baggage is easy enough since it only takes effect when focused on her, so just focus on the other date if you need the joy tokens up here, but even then it's really rare at times. And agoraphobic is similar to Lillian's second baggage, but switching passion for sentiment. Easy enough to remember, just keep track of it. So first baggage is really fun since you don't know what it destroys, so you can just have to adapt during that time. I think that's my favorite baggage for Zoey. Overall, her baggages are easy to manage. She is seen as a crazy person despite knowing the game plot is robotic, has a distinct fashion sense as set by people, and knows everyone's insecurities. Seems like a cool person to hang out overall, I would say.
If I sense compatibility between myself and another, I will do my best to attract her.
I don't know who this bitch is or how she knows any of this shit, but I ain't asking questions.
May I ask your name?
Who? Me? Lillian?
That's a beautiful name for a beautiful soul. I was born Denise, but I go by Zoey now.
Okay.
Next up, we have Brooke Belrose.
Name's Brooke. Technically, my husband owns it, but he's back home in the city with the kids. So, I came out here to keep an eye on things.
Brooke Belrose is a 40-year-old housewife and one of the oldest girls here. Her husband owns the resort. Their relationship is mix of bags, since he's a good father to their children and has a good salary but can't satisfy her and is boring according to her. Brooke likes drinking alcohol, butter pecan ice cream, classical music, action movies, online shopping, ride-sharing app, not doing any exercise, sunbathing outside, the swing ride, going on dates on Friday nights, going on walks on Sunday morning, sunny and clear weather, Christmas holiday, no pets, home economics for school subject, shopping at a shoe store, wealth in a partner, her boobs, spooning, and gangbang. She likes her shoes high status woman style and one in charge for unique gifts, wedges and bags, respectively. Her packages are unsentimental, which reduces sentimental token drops by 20% during the date. It's straightforward. Expensive taste, no plushie or souvenir date gifts unless exhausted or upset. She views them as cheap. So this is one of those packages where it limits a specific type of date gifts, which can be really rough, but it lets you plan out anyway since it tells you what you can or can't bring to the date.
Can you believe my good-for-nothing husband bought me a used convertible for our last anniversary? Honestly, used! The audacity of that man sometimes, I swear!
And lastly, Gold Digger, which takes one roof every time her date receives a date gift, unless exhausted or upset. This can be... It really depends on the date gifts that you need to give the other date, so it really depends on how much of this can be detrimental, but if you have lots of moves, it doesn't really matter, it does nothing. Brooke's pairings are Jessie, I'm pretty sure you can see why, Polly, Ashley, and Sarah. Brooke and Jessie start with Jessie wanting a drink, and they begin to converse about the common things they had, especially being a sugar mama. Polly's relationship is all on the view of marriage. Brooke has extensive knowledge of marriage and believes Polly is naive. Other than that, they seem to have a friendly relationship overall.
I don't know. I just love the idea of being a cute little housewife for my future hubby.
To be so naive and idealistic again.
The Brooke and Ashley pairing is around Ashley admiring Brooke's appearance for her age, which as I've said before is apparently 40 years old, which is then revealed that Brooke has extensive plastic surgery.
Well, I can't take all the credit. My plastic surgeon is a real miracle worker.
Ah, you've had a little work done.
A little work done? Yes, I suppose you could say that.
Sarah's are, what I said before in Sarah's part, just a working relationship with Brooke being the boss.
Sarah Stevens, I sent you a text hours ago. Where have you been?
Hi, Mrs. Belrose. Sorry, I forgot that I put my phone on silent.
Well, dear, I'm not paying you to run around the island ignoring my texts, am I?
No, sorry.
Honestly, sometimes I question why I continue to tolerate your behavior.
You can definitely guess what kind of character she is with the added info from baggages. Brooke is a gold digger, loves money, doesn't like cheap things, and has a thing for sugar babies due to not being satisfied by her husband. She does exhibit a caring attitude for the guests and cares about them. I just feel that her need for money and please sexually is way more than her pleasant side, if we were to measure them in which one's more dominant. She also was married 3 times when we first met up with her with Polly.
Oh, you're married? Oh, lucky you. I'm still searching for my special someone.
Hun, take it from someone who's been married 3 times. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Aw, what happened with your previous marriages?
I found somebody with more... well, let's just say, more to offer.
When talking with Ashley, it's revealed that she has done so many plastic surgeries that you don't even know which one's real. Zoey's quote is basically, the fear of mortality.
There's a fear of mortality, of growing old. She'll stop at nothing to feel young once again.
So it definitely plays to her need to look young and feel young overall. During dates, Brooke is about playing the day gifts in my opinion. It's working around if the second package is in effect. The reduction of sentiment tokens, no plushie of souvenir day gifts, and removing 1 move per day gift the other day receives certainly plays into that. Sometimes it's just better to make her upset to be able to gain benefits from the day gifts, which I've done a couple of times. I would say, I'll see if I can find an example. Other than that, she's easy to date with. Just some planning and you're good. Overall, Brooke is a MILF who is craving to be satisfied and a gold digger, has expensive days, and has done so many plastic surgeries to look and feel young. Yet she has a caring side that is often shadowed by her greed.
If my husband could do that, I might actually fuck him.
So we are at the last thing for B rank, which in the order I went to, it would be basically the one that's closest to A rank in my opinion. It's Polly Bendleson.
Oh my, what a handsome young man. I'm Polly, delighted to make your acquaintance.
Polly Bendleson is a beauty teleyouper and a new character in the franchise. All the previous characters were originally from Honeycomb. Polly likes water, butter pecan ice cream, classical music, animated movies, online social media, which is basically her job, quickie pickup, spinning exercise. I actually didn't know what spinning exercise was until I researched it, which is basically the bicycle machine. Picnicking for outdoor activity, water slide for theme park. She's out dancing on Friday nights, working out on Sunday mornings, cool and breezy weather, Valentine's Day, a pet bird, home economics for school subject, shopping at a fashion boutique, sense of humor in her partner, her legs, spooning, and lesbian category. Her favorite shoes are the classic classy gal, pumps, and old-fashioned girl, which are antiques. Her packages are Drama Queen, which drains 4 sentiment tokens from both her and her date when she becomes upset. Brand Loyalist, which won't allow any jewelry or cosmetic that gives on this exhausted or upset, cause she doesn't like off-brand products. And lastly, Jealousy, drains 5% of total affection goal anytime her date receives a date gift on this exhausted or upset. Polly's pairings are Ashley, Brooke, Candace, and Zoey. Polly and Ashley have a similar lifestyle to each other, Polly being a beauty teleYouTuber and Ashley being a fashion model respectively. And we're going to do a color video for our channel, which is why Ashley was actually on the island. This was the original reason for why they were in the island. Polly and Brooke's is about their view on marriage. Polly has a more traditional view while Brooke seems to be more jaded, as she calls Polly naive since Brooke has been married 3 times already. Polly and Candace is about Polly babysitting Candace when she was a kid and Candace having a huge crush on Polly. Lastly, Polly and Zoey is about Polly finding Zoey's fashion sense weird but later making up as they go on dates.
Oh, is there something wrong with the way I've applied my makeup?
No, you look great. It's just white eyeshadow and lipstick. It's an interesting statement.
Should I have gone instead with, perhaps, orange and green?
That's an option. Maybe it's best just to stick with the white for now.
Polly is a special character as she is the first trans woman character of the game. You're given an option in the beginning if she has opinions or not before starting the game file. You also get a hint of her being a trans when first meeting her.
Huh. That's weird. How come the honeybee isn't registering this chick? No, wait. There it goes. Huh. That's never happened before. Must be a bug or something.
I actually didn't know that there was a controversy until I researched more about her. I can summarize it, but just in case you guys are curious, I'll just leave it here. There's a mixed response to her announcement as a trans woman who hasn't fully transitioned. HuniePop made a poll on adding an option to finish the game without a sexy encounter with Polly. After the poll was done, it was split, so HuniePop instead treated that there would be an option to choose her gender. This was also met with mixed opinions, so HuniePop instead removed the term transgender and replaced it with female and female with male genitals. And that's the controversy. My opinion about her being trans doesn't really matter since that's their decision, it's not mine to make. Going aside from this, Polly is a beauty teleYouTuber who wants to be a housewife. She's very traditional in the sense that she talks about being happily married, cooking for her hubby, and makeup. When she first meets up with Brooke, they talk about marriage. As I've said before, Brooke has been married at least 3 times and warns Polly about it and that she trade places with her. The pairing with Ashley is basically them collabing. I'll talk more about Ashley later. Polly and Candace are related due to Polly babysitting Candace when she was younger. Candace apparently wanted Polly to kiss her on the lips when she was younger. Okay. And Polly and Zoey's interactions are mainly based around makeup and the sense of fashion. For dates, Polly's second and third packages are the main thing to look out for if they are activated. Simply being unable to use specific gifts is bad enough. Her third package is fine if you can give the other date a date gift early since the removal is percentage, so it'll take the more closer we are to the goal. First package is super easy to avoid, as long as there aren't any falling broken hearts that randomly match, easy. Overall, Polly is a nice trans woman who is hoping for a wonderful hubby to sweep off her feet. A wannabe housewife who wants to take care of her hubby, a beauty tuber with lots of viewers. She's just a nice classy girl in general.
What's your rush? You're young, beautiful, and successful. I'd trade places with you in an instant.
I don't know. I just love the idea of being a cute little housewife for my future hubby.
To be so naive and idealistic again.
And now we're in A tier. This is the part where I would say basically A tier and S tier are basically interchangeable in their ranks basically. So we got 3 characters here in A tier, so well, I guess for me it's just like preference, I would say, now comes into it since I just really like these characters. So first up in the A tier is Ashley Rosemary.
Dude, if you wanted to fly out here with me, all you had to do was ask. If I'd have known you were coming, I wouldn't have had to explain my vibrator to security.
Oh my god. I love her.
Ashley Rosemary is the second new character for HuniePop 2, after we discussed Polly. Ashley likes drinking water, cookie dough ice cream, punk music, comedy movies, online social media, quickie pickup, weightlifting exercise, sunbathing outside, the swing out for theme park, going out on a date on Friday nights, working out on Sunday mornings, thunderstorm weather, Halloween, no pets, alternate subject, just like her cousin Lillian, sense of humor in her partner, her legs.
How do I pick? It's all so flawless. Nah, but for real, my legs are sexy as fuck. I love them.
You can say that again.
Oh my... Wow, I mean, look at this. Oh my gosh, look at those thighs. My gosh. 69 and Gangbang. The shoes she likes are musician, which are apparently gladiators, which I've never heard of before until now. And her unique gifts are the fashion model type, which are bands. Her baggage are commitment issues. If Ashley is focused for 4 consecutive moves, she becomes uncomfortable and matches for her become negative, which I'm pretty sure just makes her turn upset basically. Her second baggage are allergies, no flower candle day gifts unless exhausted or upset, and her last baggage is easily bored. 2 consecutive moves that are the same type will cause an extra move. Moves with multiple matches excluded. So it's basically if you match passion. No, I don't think it's only the ones that give affection, so it has to be either you match talent and then you match another talent, then it'll cost an extra move. So it's something like that. Ashley is paired up with Polly since they have a similar lifestyle. Lillian, their cousins, related by marriage, Brooke and Nora. Ashley and Polly have a similar lifestyle like I've said, and also in Polly's section, where Ashley is a fashion model and Polly is a tele-uber. And the pairing is based on doing a collab video for Polly, which is the main reason why they went to the island. Ashley and Lillian are cousins related by marriage, which Ashley does say after the first successful date we had with them.
Ash, we're not like blood relatives, right?
Nah, we're related by marriage. I thought you already knew that.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just double checking.
And this is what happens after the second date. Second successful date, I would say.
Alright, time to take a hike, Lil. My friend and I have some grown-up stuff to do.
I'm not a kid and I'm not leaving. I want to fuck him too. So how about you leave?
I've said before, but Ash brought Lil along since her aunt was going to be out of town. They have a similar likes and calls her Lil. Ashley and Brooke is based on Ashley admiring Brooke's appearance for her age, which is then revealed that she has done extensive plastic surgery. Nora and Ashley just begin with them admiring each other, like their tattoos and nose piercings, and they quickly become friends. Ashley is the first person you meet in the beginning, after Q's monologue, I would say in the beginning, like to provide the story for the game. She's a model and even plays in an indie band. Ashley has that tomboy personality with what sounds like an accent.
Sorry, dude, not tonight. I gotta get back home and start packing. I have a crazy early flight tomorrow. My boss is sending me out to some island for an exotic shoot. Then I'm supposed to meet up with this tele-uber chick for a cross-promo we've been planning. It's not easy being a world-class fashion model, you know?
She loves messed up jokes for sure. Apparently she almost got married, which leads to her first baggage. She does talk about it during that part. She is friendly with us, I'm not sure if friends with benefits since we seem to have some history, but I think it is friends with benefits. And calls us sweet cheeks.
Later, sweet cheeks. Keep that thing nice and hard for me for when I get back.
This is so good. During dates, the tougher baggage for Ashley would have to be either, in my opinion, would be between 1 and 3rd, with the 3rd baggage edging the first one out. Just being able not to match the same type of token can be damaging, especially when you aren't paying attention. The first baggage is easy enough if you can track how many matches you made on her, so you can just switch whenever you want to the other date, so it doesn't really matter. If you lose track of board, you can just hover the baggage and it'll tell you it does help to just hover the baggage if you lose track of it. Second is easy enough to plan out. I mean, it's just allergies. Ashley Rosemary just seems like a cool person to chill with. She may have a messed up sense of humor, but does care for people. And honestly, her jokes are really funny, I would say, for me.
Is it up to me to kill the awkward silence again? Okay, let's see. When did you first lose the old V card? The womb? That's it? Pathetic. I lost mine before the universe was even conceived. Beat that.
She's definitely one of my favorites in this game, especially now that we are at A rank. And as I said before, she could be at the top of A rank, it doesn't really matter. She could even rise up to S rank, but I think I have my own preference. My taste, basically, my preference in a person, in a lady, a girl. Everyone has different preference, and for me, she's just really high up there. But it does suck having to put her in like the end of A in this tier ranking, but she can still go all the way to the top, in my opinion. And it does help that she left quite a first impression to us when we're literally banging her. She has that confidence, feels infectious, and no ebbs given attitude. All in all, she's a close friend with benefits. Just need to make sure that she isn't bored.
Hey, sweet cheeks, let me ask you something. Do you think there's anything so serious that we shouldn't joke about it? Yeah, people are way too uptight these days. It's like, fucking relax, it's a joke.
Next up after Ashley, we have Lola Rembrite.
I thought I heard a familiar voice back here. Hey, stranger, long time no see.
So, for those who don't know, Lola Rembrite is one of the 2 returning characters from HuniePop 1, the prequel for this game. Lola likes to drink coffee, obviously, if you didn't know, she loves coffee, mint ice cream, techno music, documentary movies, checking email, using the music player on her phone, boxing exercise, outdoor sports activity, roller coasters, going out drinking on Friday nights, visiting a cafe on Sunday mornings, cold and snowy weather, New Year's Eve, a pet cat, history for school subject, shopping at a sporting goods, partner who has confidence, her butt, doggy style, and solo. Her favorite shoes are winter boots, and her unique gifts are suited for tailoring. Her packages are caffeine junkie. Due to addiction, she takes all stamina matches unless exhausted or upset. Really rough. Busy schedule, short and stay true to time constraints, takes 1 move every 10 moves. It's not really that difficult. And finally, Miss Independent. Refuses all take gifts unless 30% passion. I mean, it's straightforward. Lola pairs up with Abia, Nora, Zoey, and Jessie. Lola first meets Abia when she wanted to go to a coffee shop but was stopped to do a bottle inspection. But you can definitely tell it wouldn't be just a normal inspection.
Hey, where are you? Oh my. Well, that was...
Yeah, everything checks out.
Lola and Nora starts with Nora stealing Lola's jewelry while she cleaned. Nora's job was a hotel maid, but Lola forgives her upon learning more about Nora after the first successful date.
Hey, so I guess I sorta got a confession to make. I did take your jewelry. I'm sorry, okay? I know it's fucked up. Cash is tight, you know? My cousin, she don't really make enough to support her kid, and she ain't got nobody else to help her.
You know what? Keep it.
What? No, it ain't right. Here, you gotta take it back, please.
Really, it's fine. I've got plenty of jewelry. It seems like you need it more than I do.
Zoey and Lola start out with Lola being interested in the way Zoey's dressed, similar to Polly but in a more positive sense. Lola ends up wanting to work with Zoey, but she wasn't interested in money, but Lola presents another offer.
We should get together and talk more about your fashion design ideas, Zoey.
I dress only in the way that makes me feel most self-aligned.
I recently started up a little fashion design business, you know. I think we could work together. I'm picturing a whole alternative lifestyle brand inspired by your look. What do you say?
I would like to develop our relationship further. However, I've little interest in a monetary reward.
Not in it for the money, huh? Well, perhaps there's something else I can offer.
Lola and Jessie go all the way back to HuniePop 1, most likely even before the events of that game for sure. Lola was the reason why Jessie was on the island, since Jessie definitely needed to enjoy herself and have fun. We'll talk to Jessie more about later. Lola is definitely the Miss Independent of the cast, as referenced by her baggage number 3. Since we know the game takes place 2 years after HuniePop and we know her age there was 24, so she's 26 now. Also, I'll put up both games info that you can ask from a girl. I put this up because there's different questions and you might be interested in how they answer it. So just take note that it's 2 years in HuniePop 2 since then, so taste can change. For me, it was quite a surprise in the beginning when the questions asked are different. Of course, this does let you learn more about the character, but it was just interesting in my opinion that there were no same questions between two games, like how old they were, even though that would be rude for sure, and what cup size you're rocking. I thought it would be interesting to learn their last names in my opinion, since it was definitely tough to know their last names and I had to research it on an upside, basically not in game. Honestly, they were Sarah Stevens, with Brooke and stuff. Another thing to compare between both games is the token they prefer. Lola now prefers talent, unlike before which was romance, and now dislikes flirtation, while before it was surprisingly talent. Lola is the third person you meet in the game after Ashley and Q, and the tutorial is done with her. You get to bone her in an airplane. Gameplay wise, all her baggages are easy to deal with. First baggage is easy enough, just use Lola whenever she steals the stamina tokens. Just put all your mirages to Lola until she's near stamina depletion, and then switch to the other date until her stamina goes back up again or she steals more stamina tokens. It's basically like that, it's really easy. Her second baggage is just finish the date fast. That's it. Just finish it quickly as soon as possible. And her third package is literally match passion first for her, which you need to do anyway since it lets you get more affection points needed, so that they won't get really hard later on if you don't have any of the passion. It's all workable. Overall, our Miss Independent definitely acts like one more now compared to before, where she was more, I guess, if I remember correctly, more meek. She still had that confidence, but she was more shyish. You can definitely feel that about her when you answer her questions. I can definitely put up some examples with when you're asking questions about her here.
Don't even think about it. I appreciate the offer, but I don't need anyone's help. This woman makes her own money and pays for her own things, thank you very much.
She's still a workaholic as before, and she seems to be more sexually outgoing now. To be fair, everybody seems to be like that, I would say, in this game. I just really like how independent she is now, how independent, business-minded, and self-assured she is now. Basically, she's had some character progression, I would say, since the last time we met her in HuniePop 1.
Well, are we just gonna sit and catch up, or are you gonna take that thing out?
All right, now it's time for the bonus round This is the part where you fug the girls.
And now for my top pick for A tier is Jessie Maye.
Oh my god! Are you serious? Hi, it's so good to see you. What are you doing here?
Jessie Maye is the second and last returning character from HuniePop 1. Jessie likes to drink alcohol, mint ice cream like Lola, country music, romance movies, porn for online activity, ride-sharing app, no exercise, outdoor sex, the lazy river for theme park ride, going out drinking on Friday night, masturbating on Sunday mornings, cold and snowy weather like Lola, Christmas, a pet cat, history for school subject, shopping at a shoe store. Her desired trait in a partner is acceptance, her boobs, oral position, and vanilla, surprisingly. You can see how many Jessie and Lola share in common since we did discuss Lola just previously. Jessie's favorite shoes are peep toes, and her unique gifts are alcohol beverages, which is saddening. Her packages are busted fetch, she won't feel sexuality matches on this four of a kind, which she does comment about like whenever you do make those matches.
Honestly, my pussy has seen so much action. I feel like I'm starting to go numb down there. Hello! That one got the juices flowing. There we go. Now we're in business.
Emphysema, 20% chance to not recover stamina when a move is made on her. It sucks for sure. Like, basically, when you hear it happen, actually, that's rough, basically. And depression. It's only for her. She loses one centimeter every 5 moves. It'd be interesting if a person loses depression every 5 moves. Like, how does that work? Jessie is paired up with Leilani, Brooke, Abia, and Lola. I mean, we just talked about Lola before. Jessie and Leilani's pairing is just loving how adorable Leilani is.
Technically, it's just Miss, but please, call me Jessie.
Yes, of course. My apologies, Miss Jessie.
Stop it. Miss Jessie. How fucking adorable is that? I can't stand it.
Okay, you're all checked in. Excuse me briefly while I retrieve your keycard.
With Brooke, for people who prefer the mature ladies with some talk of sugar babies.
Boing! Is there anything better than a MILF? Yeah, 2 MILFs! My god, between the 2 of them, there's enough titty milk to end world hunger! Now I know what you're thinking. But Kiyu, she's married! So?
So, what's the situation here? Are you two fucking each other?
Is it that obvious?
I know a sugar baby when I see one. He's a cute one, too. Good for you.
What can I say? I know how to pick 'em. Isn't that right, sugar baby?
Abia is a huge fan of her work. You'll know when we talk about Abia later.
Excuse me. Hi. Sorry to bother you, but you're Misty Katz, right?
Guilty.
Really? No, I can't. Oh my, wow, I can't believe I'm meeting the Misty Katz. I'm Abia. I'm your biggest fan. I've seen all your films at least 12 times.
And Jessie and Lola already know each other since HuniePop 1. And as I said in my previous section, Lola was the reason why Jenny is in Inadepuna, as she needed to relax and have fun and take care of herself.
But hey, I promised you that rain check, and did your girl deliver or what? I gotta admit, this vacation was one of your more brilliant ideas. I really needed it.
Jessie is a different character now compared to how she was in HuniePop 1. She's now depressed and melancholic. She's even developed emphysema, a lung condition that causes shortness of breath. Apparently, Tiffany, her daughter, blocked her on all of her social media, She even lost her job since she's on the older side of in the industry. Basically, Jessie's life just feels like it's all breaking apart. While she still has the same humor as before, you can sense that there's a tone there that's just sadness whenever she speaks. It was definitely sad the more you learn about what has happened over the years. I just feel like the need to comfort her since she's going through a rough time.
I'm just here on vacation. I needed to get away from it all for a while. Truth is, they don't really call me anymore. I guess that's the industry, though. Once you hit a certain age, nobody wants you anymore.
What? How can that be? Look at you. You're stunning. You're beautiful. You're perfect.
Thank you, sweetie. You know, you're pretty cute yourself. Are things between you and Tiffany still a little rocky? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, now she has me blocked on social media, too. Aw, don't worry, Angel Face. She'll come around. You'll see. For now, just enjoy yourself, girl. We're on vacation.
During the dates, her packages are more on the easier side compared to the other dates in my opinion. Busted Fetch is straightforward. Emphysema can be annoying since it is 20%, so 1 out of 5 chances. And depression is easy to manage. It's just 1 centimeter every 5 moves. Only the second measure can make it challenging since the reliance on RNG, and it did happen a lot in my playthrough, so it was really tough like getting her stamina back up. All in all, Jessie is just going through a rough stage in life right now. Her daughter hates her. I think hates her, that's why she blocked her on everywhere. Lost her job, got addicted to smoking and drinking alcohol, which is why she has emphysema now. Drinking alcohol to help wash the depression away, at least try to. What she's looking for now is a way to rekindle her relationship with her daughter and a man who can accept her now, instead of how she was just like years ago.
I used to hope I'd meet somebody who just loved me, mistakes and all. But that ship sailed a long time ago.
We are finally at S tier. These girls are ones who I really like. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the A tier people, A tier girls there. But this tier is like where I'm like, wow, I just want to hang out with them and stuff. Like, date them basically. And we can start with Nora Delrio.
Who? Me? Nora, can I help you with something?
Nora Delrio is the cousin of Kiana Delrio from HuniePop 1. Nora likes boba, cookie dough ice cream, hip-hop, comedy movies, webcam chatting, Kashi phone app, weightlifting, sports, drop tower, watching TV on Friday nights, visiting the cafe on Sunday mornings, thunderstorms, Thanksgiving holiday, a dog, gym for school subject, shopping at the sporting goods like Lola, a partner who has confidence like Ashley. Wait, is it Ashley? No, Ashley was a sense of humor. Her butt, cowgirl, and the solo category. Her unique gifts are the babysitting item, and she likes sneakers. Her packages are vindictive. If she becomes upset, she throws one day gift away from either her or her date that they have received, which removes the effects. It's really rough if it does happen and if you really need that day gift. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter.
Hey, listen, we're cool and everything, but I just gotta warn you fair and square. Don't ever try to do nothing to fuck me over, okay? That would not be a good idea. When I was locked up, there was this bitch who couldn't keep her mouth shut, so you know what I did? When I got out, I found out where the bitch lived. I trashed her place and I fucked her boyfriend. Hey, if someone fucks with me, I'm gonna fuck them twice as hard back. I don't take no shit from nobody.
Abandonment issues. Anytime you switch from her to her date, she drains 5% of current earned affection from the date. Now this will be really tough because you will keep on switching. Even if you switch accidentally, like you're just debating, like you're just like switching from date to date, no matter how many times, it will just keep reducing and reducing it. So don't do that when she has this activated.
Adios.
and emotionally guarded. Doubles the amount of broken hearts that fall, but she is immune to matches of them. Now this is really good if you have dates that can negate the effect of the broken heart. This is really good for them, basically. Like an example would be Lillian with her darkness and Zoey with her, I think it's like aquaphobic, which switches sentiment and broken hearts effects. Nora is paired up with Lola, Candace, Sarah, and Ashley. Nora and Lola started with Nora stealing Lola's jewelry while she was cleaning. Her job was as a hotel maid. Nora told the truth and apologized, saying that cash is tight and wanted to support her cousin. She wanted to return it back, but Lola declined as she has plenty of jewelry, and instead asked her for another option to repay her.
Hey, so I guess I sorta like got a confession to make. I did take your jewelry. I'm sorry, okay? I know it's fucked up. Cash is tight, you know? My cousin, she don't really make enough to support her kid, and like, she ain't got nobody else to help her.
You know what? Keep it.
What? No, it ain't right. Here, you gotta take it back, please.
Really, it's fine. I've got plenty of jewelry. It seems like you need it more than I do.
Yo, I don't know what to say.
Don't worry about it. Besides, I think there might be another way you can pay me back.
Nora and Candace's relationship is based around Nora being the drug dealer for Candace.
The cocaine?
Nora and Sarah's is around Sora being weird at first, but Nora thinking that she is innocent to the harsh route after the first successful date.
Is it?
Nah, like you ain't been corrupted by the world yet or something. Kinda like, innocent.
Nora and Ashley's just begin with them admiring each other, tattoos and piercings, and they quickly become friends. It's basically the same thing I said during Ashley's part.
Oh shit, nice chest piece. I've been meaning to get something done on my chest.
I was just about to say the same about your nose stud. I really gotta get one of those. Is that your only piercing?
Nah, I got another one.
Nice. Where at? You can't.
Yup.
Nora Delrio is a tomboy of the cast in this, even though Ashley can also be considered a tomboy. If there was a tomboy in the HuniePop 1, I didn't really get any tomboy feelings from any of the HuniePop 1 characters. There really isn't anyone that felt tomboyish to me. Nora's done many bad things in the need for money, but this is all for family. She deeply cares about her family, her cousin Kiana and her son, even getting a job to help provide money for Kiana to support them. Basically, she has a good heart. It's just that she's been through a rough time when she was young. Nora's been to QV so many times, she had to adapt and has become more distant from everyone. You get an idea of upon learning her baggages, and even from Zoey's quote.
It's a past filled with hardship and betrayal. This one's walled herself off to avoid being hurt again.
Nora during dates was fun for me. Vindictive was easy enough since it only triggers upon no stamina. Abandonment issues is easier earlier since it's 5% of the accumulated goal, so it'll take more when it has more, obviously. And emotionally guarded helps clear the broken hearts with the caveat that it lowers the drop rate. As I said before, it does help if you have either Zoey or Lillian, but I don't think she doesn't have those pairings, so it's more tougher, I would say. So my ranking of toughness for her baggages are the second baggage, the third baggage, and the first baggage. In general, Nora was harder from rough childhood where dad left her when she was young, getting arrested a lot of times, and being money tight, but underneath that cold demeanor is a kind person who cares about her family, who tries to help her cousin financially and support her nephew. I just have a soft spot for tomboys also.
Hey, don't take this in a bad way or nothing, but you seem kind of like normal, you know? It makes me kind of wonder, like, how you grew up. Your parents must still be together, yeah? For real? Shit, that's so cool. I wish I could say the same, but nah. My dad left when I was young, and we ain't seen him since. It was just me, my mom, and my brothers. It wasn't easy, money was tight, but we learned to do whatever we had to do to get by. What? Am I supposed to say something? Shit, okay. How close are you with your family? No doubt. Family's all we got, you know? Without them, fuck. I don't know where I'd be.
Next up, we have my second favorite girl of all the game, I would say. Abia Nawazi.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm very sorry, but I don't think you're allowed to go that way.
Oh no, it's okay. I work for Tropica Airlines. I'm just gonna go grab a coffee.
Wow. Ma'am, you're gonna have to show me what's in your bra. Bags! I have to check your bags. For security purposes only.
My bags? What are you talking about? I don't even have any bags.
I'm going to have to ask you to come with me for a body inspection.
Abia Nawazi is the last of the 3 new characters in this game. So in total, the 3 new characters are Ashley Rosemary, Polly Bendleson, and Abia Nawazi. Abia likes drinking
Milk! Yeah, a nice warm glass of milk. Not because it reminds me of anything.
Hey, that's the same thing I was thinking.
strawberry ice cream, country music, documentary movies, adult videos, music player on the phone, swimming for exercise, engaging in public coitus, roller coasters, going to work on Friday nights, she works as a airport security, wanking on Sunday mornings, gray and rainy weather, New Year's Eve, snake for a pet, English for school subject, shopping at an adult shop, a big penis, her vagina, oral position, and BDSM. Her unique gifts are kinky, and favorite shoe types are flats. Her packages are Sex Addict, which explores all sexuality matches and consists a random sexuality token every move made on her. I mean, it does help since she does favor the sexuality token. Self-effacing, she refuses to accept date gifts unless her date has already received one. And that's just really nice. Like, aww. And one pump chump. 4 of a kind matches made on her causes her to squirt half of her sentiment. Sentiment matches exclusive. It's not really interesting. Like, whenever you hear a dialogue about it, whenever you made the match on her, it's like that is just really funny for me.
Oh no! Sorry!
Abia is paired up with Lola, Jessie, Lillian, and Candace. Abia and Lola's pairing start with Abia doing some body inspection on Lola, and hitting it off after that.
You know, Abia, I don't think we ever quite finished that strip search.
Huh? What do you mean?
I can think of a couple sensitive areas you haven't investigated yet.
With Jessie, as I've said before during her part, Abia is a massive fan of her work. Abia and Lillian's relationship is based on being defiant against their parents, and Abia and Candace is more of a customer relationship type. Apparently, Abia is Candace's best customer, and that became a problem, so she stopped going to the strip club.
No, it's nothing like that. I just have to save my money so I can pay my rent this month. Whenever I go to the strip club, I have a tendency to spend my entire paycheck.
That's why you're my favoriteest customer in the whole world.
During dates, her packages are easy to understand and work with. When the first package is active and you do a rat match, it all goes to Abia. Do I even really need to talk about the second package? It's so simple. The third package is situational if Abia has a date gift that you think will help in finishing the date. In summary, this is like one of the easier dates, I would say. From the first time meeting Abia, you could tell that she was different. A line from the wiki says it best: Abia is a sex addict to the point that it interferes with her life. All she thinks about is dirty thoughts. If anything, it just made every interaction with her fun for me. I've definitely chuckled a lot of times with her She also talks about her strict parents during some conversations. Abia is, however, a kind lady who understands that her addiction causes problems for her. She apparently got in trouble for doing too many body inspections. Abia seems to be a good person to hang out with, and as long as she can control her addiction, eventually it definitely makes me laugh at times, and it can lead to some really good situations.
I'm horny to be here with you. Happy, not horny. Well, yes, horny, but never mind.
And finally, we have my most favorite girl in this game, who is at the top of this tier list. It's Lailani Kioloha.
Good evening. Welcome to Lovely Hotel. My name is Lailani. How may it be of service?
Lailani likes drinking tea, vanilla ice cream, J-pop music like Sarah, romance movies, watching videos online, texting on phone, yoga exercise, hiking for outdoor activity, the lazy river, crashing early on Friday nights, eating breakfast on Sunday mornings, extremely hot weather, Easter holiday, a fish for a pet, no favorite school subject, shopping at a bookstore, her favorite trait in a partner is acceptance, no body part, the standard position, which is apparently missionary, and vanilla. Her unique gifts are related to spa items, and her favorite shoe types are flip-flops. Now, since this is the last girl, you've definitely seen like the pairings basically with the other girls, but I'll just say it again. The Lailani's pairings are Sarah, Jessie, Lillian, and Candace. Sarah and Lailani's pairing is based on Sarah thinking that Lailani was Japanese despite being Polynesian. In Jessie's case, she finds Lailani cute and adorable.
Oh my god, aren't you just the cutest thing? With the little flower in your hair and everything. Stop. I love it.
Me? No, it's just part of the uniform. I appreciate the compliment though.
Lillian's began with Lil trying to buy alcohol with a fake ID, but Lailani wasn't fooled. They seemed to get along in the end, like after a couple of dates.
I could get in so much trouble, but maybe I can forget about that ID you showed me.
Wait, really? Okay, that's like fucking cool. You're kind of like awesome.
If you say you're old enough to drink, well, I guess I'll just have to believe you.
Lastly, Lailani wanted to learn how to dance from Candace as a way to help her self-confidence basically, which turned into helping Lai build some self-confidence, which is wholesome I would say.
Gosh, I wish I had your confidence, Candace. The way you carry yourself is so natural.
You'll get it. You just gotta learn to be comfortable in your own skin.
I don't know. I'm so awkward. Maybe I'm just not cut out for dancing.
Lailani's packages are low self-esteem, matches that directed at her that include a power token won't use affection unless it's a romance match. That's really rough I would say, since it only allows one type of match if it's like with a power token. Her second package is, for the first 50 moves, sexuality matches directed at her will cause her to be upset. That's really rough since if you match out the available moves, which is 30, she's only available half of it, basically. And her last package is sheepish. She won't allow any hygiene or sex toy day gifts. Once exhausted or substance, it's too embarrassing. I really need to stop saying this word, but the Lailani's packages are workable. The first package can just make all the power token matches go to the other date, unless it's the romance, which, I mean, Lailani benefits more with the romance matches. The sexuality matches can go also to the other date until the 15 turns are done, and the day gifts just don't use the one that are restricted. It's that easy. Now, Lailani is the best girl in the game for me. The first time meeting her, you can tell that she is shy and a quiet person. She gets embarrassed when you ask her any sexual questions. She can even get mad, but that's only during dates when she gets upset, from what I've seen at least. Lailani seems to work her jobs diligently. She works as a hotel clerk with a side of masseuse. If there is anything that could be a flaw to her, it would be being too nice to a fault. Even then, I would say it's that much of a big flaw. She just has to build some confidence so she wouldn't be a yes. I was gonna say yes man, but she's a girl, so yes girl. Yes woman. While she does get really easily embarrassed over anything sexual, she still seems to go with the flow of the atmosphere. And I guess she's more of a closet person. Overall, Leilani is basically someone that I would love to hang out with and be friends for sure. And would most likely want to date, I would say.
Wow, Miss Jessie, you're really good at that.
Well, sweetie, I am a professional.
Oh god. This definitely took a while. I actually wonder how long this actually took, like for the character section only. I'm sorry that this part took so long, but I'll explain why in the next session. And I think it can be really obvious why when I provide that explanation. So, let's keep on going. We got a couple of things left to do anyway. Even though I've been giving my opinions about this game, like through other things like characters, the gameplay, like we can dedicate a session to it right here. So, my opinions of this game is that it has great gameplay. It expanded on the original format from the prequel and added new mechanics, the packages, and stamina, which helped in increasing the difficulty of the game. The only thing that you had to worry about in the first HuniePop was filling the affection goal before running out of moves. I mean, that was just basically it. It's a normal Bejeweled style game.
Outstanding.
But now, there is another defeat condition, which is basically both dates running out of stamina. Adding stamina to the girls is a nice addition in my opinion, since it adds a layer during dates. Plus, it can be fun seeing how they react when they are upset.
Man, this shit is exhausting.
What? I don't understand.
Ugh, weak. You're losing me, man.
Packages changes the rules of the date, depending on what is activated. Like Lillian's second package, which refers to the effects of the Passion and Broken Heart tokens. This makes the player think more carefully since it can either open or lessen what you are able to do. The only thing that I felt a bit frustrating, other than sudden packages, was getting the currency to buy items. Unlike HuniePop 1, the currency here is done by using honey seeds, compared to money, which is straightforward. Getting the specific type of seed I wanted to use to buy a certain item felt random to me. Like, I felt I got more talent and flirtation seeds compared to the romance and sexuality seeds. But it might be different for other people, but it definitely gave me a bit of a trouble since I was only limited to what items appeared on those parts of the shop. I say this because since you need the seeds for the gifts, but also to increase your stats, unlike in the prequel where you can just use honey, which is another currency in HuniePop 1, to level them up. By giving girls their unique gifts, your stats will slowly level up. This is definitely the only thing I was only a bit upset since I didn't have the RNG to get the seeds I needed so I can level up my stats early on. Let's move on to the most important thing in a dating sim in my opinion. The girls/ladies. I keep saying girls more than ladies since it's one syllable, even though ladies may be the proper term, so even though some of them do feel like younger than ladies, I guess. Since I feel like ladies are more probably past teenage years, I would say, while girls are more teen. I think it's just easier to say girls since one syllable, so it will stick with girls. The girls make or break the game for me. If you don't like the girls, why would you even want to date them? Remove the girls and it just becomes a Bejeweled game. This is why the section on the characters is so long. I wanted to provide my opinion / tier list on the girls so you can have an idea about them. Another reason was that I wanted to have a general idea on how I felt about them. And the third thing was to compare them to the girls from HuniePop 1. If I were to rate the girls from HuniePop 1 with the ones here, the average would be higher for the prequel than the sequel. I can show you how I would tier this them here. I mean, this is just a rough estimation from what I remember from playing HuniePop 1 and who I liked back then, so I wouldn't say this is concrete, but would say it's most likely how I would tier them. In simpler terms, the HuniePop 1 were overall more likable than HuniePop 2. This makes me rate the sequels only slightly lower than the prequel, even with the improvements in gameplay. Hanging out with the girls, getting to know them, falling in love with them, that's the fun of dating sims for me. The things you can learn about them are different if you played both games. If anything, you learn more about the girls here than previously, but it is missing some important questions like last name. Like, they only talk about it during certain dialogue basically. It's like you might hear it and then you might just miss it if you weren't paying attention. Their age, usually you probably shouldn't ask them anyway. The birthday, their favorite color, and the most important one of all, the cup size. It definitely was the most important question of all, don't ask. One thing to note is that since these are double dates, you may be able to get the same answer from both dates. And if you're able to get the same answer from both dates, you are rewarded with some seats compared to where you only get one and there's none, no seats.
Every girl's favorite app, Quickie Pick. That's how I keep my followers up to date on what I'm doing.
Yep, I'm not surprised. We have pretty similar lifestyles after all. Yes, I am awesome. Oh wait, that wasn't your question? How do I pick? It's all so flawless. Nah, but for real, my legs are sexy as fuck. I love them.
You can say that again.
Another was that they don't quiz you like in the prequel, where you have to answer correctly or you get nothing. This was important since I'm pretty sure that this happens in real life, plus it does reward you for knowing these things and remembering it. So I do like that part. Like, what does this girl like? What was her favorite color? What was her favorite season? It was a fun trivia, like, are you paying attention to them? In HuniePop 2, when you ask a question that they've already answered before, they don't get mad at you and just repeat what they said before. This is because the other day may have a similar like with the date. Other than that, the only thing that I felt mattered was when the packages appeared. This only happens after a couple of dates from my playthrough. I may have said it before, but I'll just repeat myself just to be safe. Packages are a nice addition and helps in making the games more challenging. Without it, it would just be like HuniePop 1 where it's just a simple match 3 game and the only thing they added was that stamina thing, which I don't think felt enough in my opinion. With packages, they put a twist to the already known gameplay of HuniePop. I've already talked about the packages for each character, but I'll do it again just to provide an example. We'll use Zoey's packages as an example. Her first package can ruin what you were planning, or it can probably save you by taking out lots of broken hearts. Her second package just outright denies you from getting joy tokens, so the only way around this is to hope that they drop when doing matches on the other date. And her third reverses the effects of sentiment and broken heart tokens. There will be people who find this troublesome, but for me, I think this is needed as a way to change the formula instead of sticking with the formula and just changing the girls here now. I'd like to discuss about the characters who I didn't talk about during the character section, which are Q and the Nymphogene specifically. This is because, if anything, they are side characters for the majority of the story. The Nymphogene only serves as the final boss to the story, there's nothing wrong with that. And with Q, the reason you can't date Q this time is that she got reprimanded by the corporate to stop banging her clients, so we can't date her. I'm pretty sure the same was said in the previous game, so it's like, screw it, let's just bang, okay? You only get to talk to Q when you go back to your hotel room, which is used for changing the ladies' outfits, checking the photos, and taking a nap, which lets you change the time of day. You don't really need to use that nap time, in my opinion. I only started to use it after finishing the story to start unlocking their outfits. For the Nymphogene, I can't even really characterize them because during the boss fight, they just take on a random pair of girls so they don't even have their own distinctive baggage. One thing to note is that during boss dates, they use whatever they give the ladies, so you should probably do some setup before doing the boss battle, the final boss basically. That is what I did before, because like I was having trouble like after my first run of the boss, so I had to do some setup and just like went to each pair and then start putting good items on them. So that's what you should probably do before going on a boss fight with them. Just make sure the items work with their packages and stuff if you're having trouble completing it. You get 100 moves with 4 phases, and the passion resets after every phase, so it can take more moves than expected to complete a phase. And for each phase, they change characters. Once that's done, the story of the game is basically done, and it goes to post-game where you can charge them again.
No! This can't be happening! My panties! They're soaked!
He'll never make us orgasm! It's not possible!
And Alpha Mode is automatically activated. I'm pretty sure I said it before, but Alpha Mode is the same as the Rico, where it sets the game to hard with a progressively increasing difficulty in dates. By that, I mean they just increase the affection goal more and more the more you complete dates. Another is the Endless Date Mode, where it's stated in the name itself. You complete as many dates as you can before running out of moves, where you gain 10 moves after every completed date. This can be used to farm seeds, but by this time you should have given all the ladies their unique gifts, I would say. So this is just for farming food, so you can give them to girls, so you can ask them questions and stuff if you're a completionist and wanted to learn everything about them. But another alternative option is to use it on unlocking alternate outfits for them. Some of them even reference other characters, which I found interesting. My opinion on the story is that it was a simple story where you have to satisfy 2 divine beings, otherwise the galaxy is destroyed. It's only mentioned in the beginning, getting your first fairy rings, and at the end after collecting 24 fairy rings to begin the date with the Nymphogen. If anything, it was more about the journey than the destination. We got to learn about the girls since they are the main attractions of the game, with the Nymphogen being the side dish. The story of HuniePop 1 was also simple, with you summoning onto Q and her taking you in to learn how to get ladies. That's pretty much it, a straightforward story with you learning how to get dates. I'm fine with this since the girls are what needs to be attractive to the player, and the story can be done in lower priority as long as it makes sense overall. The ladies are the top priority of a dating sim, and in this game. I didn't really talk about music, but honestly, it's the same as HuniePop 1. It's so good. You could just, like, I've been listening to some of them like while at least editing this, at least really slowly, because like I still wanna make sure that there's no mistakes with the audio in this. But I'm pretty sure there will be some mistakes since I'm not that good. A lot of times you can just vibe and chill with this OST. Apparently it's a sweeping soundtrack inspired by a mix of seaside styles including Hawaiian, Caribbean, and classic American surf rock. A lot of them also match the location of the day, which is also nice. I think my favorite is the Golf Course OST. It's just peppy, it makes me happy and wants to dance.
What a guy.
Another would be the poolside bar. The song is so nice to vibe to, like you can just chill with it.
I hope I don't get too wet. I still have to go to work later.
Honestly, they're all bangers, just like the prequel. I highly recommend getting the OST. It's just so good to listen to. If you don't, that's fine. Everyone has different tastes in music, just like everyone has different tastes in girls. It's time for the rating, so it is now time for how I would rate the game. I definitely still had a tough time thinking about how I should rate games since I fluctuate between going 1 to 5, 1 to 10, or just saying whether it's a great game or it's a horrible game. I just can't really lay down what number should represent what, so I'll do my best to justify it. So, I would rate HuniePop 2 a 4 out of 10. I would rate HuniePop 2 a 4 out of 5. Basically an 8 out of 10 if we go with that rating. If we go with scaling, basically. Honestly, it's a great game. I had a great time playing the game, interacting with the characters, even if there are some oddballs out there like Suki and Lillian. Eventually Lillian's more, I guess, likable than Suki in my opinion. She's just in that teen angst period. If anything, it was basically trying to get every character type so you at least like one of them. The story is there, but it's just basically a reason to be able to do double dates, which I'm not hating. I do like it. I like double dates. The animation also served that reason to needing the double date, but I feel you can take them out of the story and nothing really changes. Like, it tries to give you like a looming deadline, but there is no deadline in my opinion. You can keep on going on dates forever and ever, but they'll still be there, I would say. The music is banger. Highly recommend listening to it. It's such a vibe. I really like how the game looks, and it feels like a progression from the first game if you look at the artistic changes. The baggages and stamina mechanics for double dates are a welcome change and can alter the difficulty of the date depending on the active baggage, or baggages if you're on hard mode, which is good. It provides more of a challenge. I would only say that HuniePop 1 is better in the most important thing, the girls. As I've said before, the girls from HuniePop 1 are average, more likable in HuniePop 2, but that doesn't mean that they're better individually, and that is in your taste in ladies, in girls basically. This is due to everyone having a different preference on who they like, and honestly my favorite for HuniePop 2 was Lillian, but someone else may disagree, and that's fine. Everyone else is entitled to their opinions. It's just that Sarah brings it down for me, so that's why HuniePop 2 drops a bit compared to HuniePop 1. She's just super annoying and has the most frustrating baggages in my opinion. Others can have different ones. The fact that she has a chance of having a broken heart every match is bad enough, but the worst is when she sees the affection from the other date. It definitely costed me some dates. Lillian was fine for me as long as she can chill a bit with the self-deprecation. And honestly, like, eventually, I guess it's a recency bias, but I do like the HuniePop 2 girls more than the HuniePop 1, but if I were to take the recency bias out, I do think HuniePop 1 is slightly better than the HuniePop 2 cast, I would say. Hopefully when they make a new game, every single lady is likable and relatable, just like HuniePop 1. I mean, to be fair, HuniePop 1 was just more down to earth with the side of fairies and a cat girl. I'm also wondering what they could do to improve or change dates, just like how the baggages and the stamina mechanics alter the rules of the dates. I may sound like a broken record, but music deserves praise. That is a 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5. Perfect. I wonder what theme they'll pick next. They may even go outside of Earth and we can bang the universe. We'll see when the time comes. And when it comes, I'll wait with excitement. HuniePop 2 is a great game. Superb music, improvements on the dates. I love the artistic style of this game. The story is just there, with an assortment of dateable ladies, dateable girls. You just have to see if you'll be attracted to these girls. Phew, this took a while. I didn't record the outro for a long time now because I wanted to finish editing the video, but this took way longer than I expected. I mean, I can talk about it during I even stopped doing the monthly recap so I can focus on this, and I can definitely talk about it on that video. That would be somewhat of a long one, but I don't think it'll be a long one, at least for the month of September, since I didn't really do much in September since I focused my time working on this video after I finished the FGO. And before that, I was just like, it was a mixed bags because FGO was happening, I was getting my COVID shots, and I did tell during those monthly reviews, I did get a headache for that part, the side effects of getting the COVID shots, but it did heal after a while. If anything, the main culprit is that I got sidetracked a lot. I procrastinated too much. I thought I could complete it, like, I'll be able to finish this month, but no, I didn't. I thought I could multitask them, but instead, I focused solely on the main thing happening during those months, which was FGO. I'm pretty sure it was the Yuka Chitra lost belt, and once that was done, second shot came in, destroyed me again like the first shot, but at least that was like shorter than the first shot. But then after that, I got restricted by the Senators of Light Event and all, which I did farm, and then they added some things to make sure the grind isn't too long, so... And other than that, that should be it. I hope you guys like my review. I'm sorry that it took... I'm pretty sure this might be around... Like, it's already past an hour long when I thought it would be less than an hour, but the girls section took so much longer because me recording those things, it was just now I can talk about it later on the Monday review, but like I can make a dedicated video about that, like just explaining why, at least so you guys understand. But that should be it. I'm sorry that it's a long video, but I really wanted to get my thoughts and opinions about the game, the characters, everything basically. And I hope that I can explain it well enough so you guys can understand my reasonings and everything about the game. I would say I think I got mostly everything. One thing I forgot is that there's a place where you can enter codes. I'm pretty sure you can search this up, but there are codes where it unlocks outfits, and there's also another code which you might have seen from clips that I've used with Abia, where she has her hair down and she doesn't have her hijab on. It's just preference, but I do like seeing her long hair. It's just really nice. Also, you may notice that I don't use a lot of the CG pictures. I just want to play it safe. And I don't think this video is safe at all, but either way, you can see it online, or you can just play the game. So I'm sorry if I'm not showing you guys the image gallery, since I do blur those out on a specific occasions and when it's safe enough. But I don't think the other videos got was it age restricted? Even though I tried to play it safe, but oh well, it's just HuniePop 2. It's just gonna get age restricted. Nothing we can do. So that should be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe for our videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe for our videos. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye, have a nice day, and stay safe out there. I'll start recording videos again soon. Bye bye.